Two of my favorite things, chocolate and coffee, combined in the Kona coffee truffles from Trader Joe's. Let's evaluate them. All right. So we've got these totemic little dudes standing here, standing guard, one on each side. And it's an off pink edging on purple for the color of the bag. The descriptors are all about the Kona district of Hawaii, which is a coffee area. Okay, so this is trying to evoke a sense that I'm on the island of Hawaii. First ingredient, chocolate. Okay, so my first quibble is the treats themselves being packaged in these non-descriptive gold wrappers. So what my thought is that Trader Joe's, since they source their products all from factories that are already producing products under different lines, under different names, company names, that what they've done is just rebranded something that's already on the market and went to a more bland labeling. So like a lot of Trader Joe's products, these treats are probably listed and marketed the exact same treat under a different name. So I learned a lot about Trader Joe's when I was working at another retailer for quite a long while, and they were known for being on the cutting edge of the health food movement. And so when a Trader Joe's moved into our town, we had a very long meeting, and they made everyone go to it, and administrators from the regional offices were all there, and we had to be taught all the details about Trader Joe's. So I'm not going to go into that because I'm not an evangelist for Trader Joe's or for any other wholesome food market. So I do not shop regularly at Trader Joe's, but on occasion I've stepped in the doors. I've been to, I guess I've been to a number of them, and it's not too bothersome to me to browse there. But you can't really do a full shopping trip because their product range is only about 3,000 products. So, and of those, it's only a small portion that I would consider something that I would stock up on as far as like a week or two of shopping. So, but for treats and for trivialities, it's really nice because I really got hooked on one of their coconut treats. It was like slivers of copra, and it was kind of drenched in, I think, probably a salty coconut water brine or sugary. It was okay. So worth a visit, but be selective when you're choosing your items there. So it doesn't smell too bad, you know. This is just exactly kind of what I'm into. Dark chocolate and the kitty's mewling. Coconut oil, white chocolate. I'm really seeing very little that's not chocolate or coffee, and I was pleased with my first bite. So my excitement level's building. All right, I want my palate to be ready for this one. Okay, so now that we've had our little talk about Trader Joe's, let's see what they're offering. Silver on the inside. You know, since it's silver and gold, I can get behind it a little bit more, but wouldn't it have been nice if they did some of them in silver and some in gold? Like just piled half of them into the machine in one way and half in the other way? So you would have a great spray of luxury inside the bag peeking out at you. As it is, it's just something I believe with the color of it wouldn't be too bothersome if there was even one tiny logo on it, even as an afterthought. But I think that the pinks combined with the gold is just a little bit, the clashes just a little bit. But their packaging, I suppose, is just utilitarian, really. I mean, because they have to be redesigned because these factories are churning them out already, in most cases, I believe. So it's a beautiful looking treat, nicely sized, uniformly coated in beautiful chocolate. It's filling my nostrils nicely with a rounded sensation. Centered in my sinuses synapses. My sinacular synapses are pleased. A very dedicated roundness to the aroma. It doesn't really reach up into the tops or around the edges of my sense of smell. It just beelines right to a spot in the center and dwells there. So I'm going to bite it in half so we can get a peek on the inside and an evaluation. Oh, let's do it. Okay, yeah, it's truffly. It's chocolatey. The first sensation that hit me though was one of chocolate. Or sorry, coffee. Okay. A very nice devolution. It's breaking down slowly of its own accord, melting into a really comforting, warm blanket of chocolatey goodness. There's just a couple of specks of coffee in there, adding a little bit of crunch, lending a lot of flavor. The grittiness is welcome, actually, because if it was entirely smooth and was coating my palate, although the flavor would be really good, I think I wouldn't like it as much if it didn't have this little gentle sandiness. Overall really good, and I'm left with a palate that's almost empty of flavor, except for just a little bit of a lingering warmth from that chocolate. They've done a fine job. So if we peek in the inside here, we can just see the crumbly mass of the inside. I didn't really notice any distinct texture difference in the outside of the treat versus the inside. It just all sort of just cleanly melted into a delightful, smooth, chocolatey experience. Bittersweet. There's nothing overwhelming about the sweetness. I do tend to like darker chocolates, and this is putting the dark chocolate right up in the front. Very well done. They're calling it divine. Melt in your mouth confection. I think I would agree. I'm going to go ahead and, instead of savoring it and letting this portion melt, I'm going to just bite into it and just give it a good crunch and see what happens. Okay, a little bit different now. Once again, it cleanly disappears out of my mouth, leaving my palate just with this light coating of good flavor. And when I was biting into it, it had a really unique texture that is kind of unique to truffles, or at least these mid to higher grade truffles. Just an unusual sensation of incising down through the material. Of course, it's different from what I'm usually incising down into, but it yields readily, but it also maintains its integrity. Great, great, amazing. I think best if they're gently savored, but yes, I guess one thing can be said for Trader Joe's. The quality is usually uniformly really good. Unibrew is a company who's it's a brewery that I've drank a lot of their beers and tried almost all of their offerings, and at one point I considered them extremely excellent. And even Unibrew has a a Trader Joe's brew that's brewed specifically for Trader Joe's. The only tell is that on the cork on the top of the bottle, you can see the Unibrew company. Like, they didn't really take away that defining characteristic of their branding. So, well, excellent overall. It's been several months since I've stepped foot into a Trader Joe's, but I guess once every 6 months or so. I do drive by it with some regularity, so I just go in occasionally. But I do recommend these if you happen to see them at your local Trader Joe's. I think you're going to like them. The coffee element is, I would say, perfectly balanced, because it's very apparent that the coffee is inside. But now that it's finished, I'm just getting the most gentle, lingering coffee, expertly roasted coffee taste mixed with the chocolate taste. So, a resounding success. But combining my favorite products into one concoction, it was a recipe for success. If this was done with poor quality coffee, poor quality chocolate, I would be quick to label it for what it was, just a gross and awful misuse of the source products. But this one's good. This one's very good. The Kona Coffee Truffle.